Good morning. It's Saturday morning and we're heading for our secondary pull and primary push session. So see you in the gym. Even though this is my secondary pull session, it is primary muscle up day. On my primary session, I'm ramping up in sets of 3, aiming for a linear progression on a weekly basis. What I'm focusing on during this block is to keep the hips as close as possible to the bars during the transition, whilst keeping the hip kick at a minimum. Second exercise of the day, neutral grip pull-ups. Definitely one of my favorites at the moment, so I just need to be a little bit more careful because I tend to overshoot these quite a bit or quite frequently, so I need to manage load a little bit better throughout the week because there is less rest in between the secondary and the primary pull session in comparison to the primary to the secondary session. So I just need to be careful in ensuring I have enough recovery in between the sessions, and if I'm going too heavy during the session, I immediately feel weaker on my primary session, and obviously the goal is to perform at my best during the primary session and not during the secondary session. So taking things easy and not overshooting is key here. Next on the menu we have the hook lying dumbbell bench press. This is a great starting point to learn how to keep the chest up, which will help to avoid rounded shoulders as we press, and additionally the hook lying position will help to keep the lower back nicely in contact with the bench, ensuring the stack is improved, which is something I'm still struggling with. As we can see, I tend to have issues keeping the lower back in contact with the bench, and I tend to flare my lower ribs, and as well my left shoulder is not moving as smoothly as the right one. The one-arm dumbbell row. This is a great variation to row in the lower ranges of shoulder flexion whilst improving a stack position of the pelvis and rib cage, and additionally it helps training fully integrated scapular protraction and retraction capabilities. The high incline press on the Smith machine, I really like this variation, but there is definitely some work needed as I still tend to flare those lower ribs and can't keep the lower back in contact with the bench, so might need to reduce the load. But key here is to learn how to press with proper gliding of the scapula on the rib cage. So you might be familiar with the scapulohumeral rhythm, and that's what I want to improve here. The chest supported row with a pause in the shortened position really helps me to tackle that posterior shoulder girdle. In addition, it is also a great exercise to improve shoulder extension, since we're keeping the elbows at roughly 45 to 60 degrees of abduction. So I'm not thinking about shrugging my shoulder blades together, but I'm thinking more about pushing my ribcage into my scapulas and keeping shoulder blades away from each other. The cable single arm lateral raise. Here I'm targeting my middle delts, so the side delts, with a different resistance profile in comparison to the previous block, since I performed these with dumbbells and now I switched to the cables to make the lower part of the range of motion a bit harder. Unfortunately, I couldn't film the cable single arm high curls as there were too many people around me, and there I was focusing on training the biceps in a maximally shortened position, which strengthens the biceps for shoulder stabilization on the front side of the arm. See you in the next one, and if you haven't done yet, like, subscribe, and turn on the bell so you don't miss out on any videos. Stay tuned, a lot more content is coming, and some special content is coming in the next couple of weeks, so you should definitely subscribe, and yeah, see you in the next one.